blue. Today, we're doing page 98, 99, and 100 in your pre-intermediate book. So, we have our icebreaker. What famous volcanoes are there in the world? How many can you name? Can anyone here name a volcano?
Well, I've heard that there's volcanoes in America, in California. I've forgotten the name of the park now. Oh, do you know the park in America where there's supposed to be a lot of volcanoes? I'll give you a
I
clue.
believe Yellowstone now.
Yellowstone.
It's also Mount Vesuvius in Italy.
Well, are they active or extinct? What do you know about them? So, is Mount Vesuvius active or extinct?
It's active.
I think it's still sort of smouldering and...
No, it's active. A few years ago alone, it went off. Loads
Oh,
of lava
yeah.
came out. Yeah.
And the volcano in Bali at the moment, which is busy erupting right now. I don't know what its name is though.
Interesting. Very good. Okay. Now we have, what do you think a super volcano is?
A very large volcano.
I would tend to agree. Read the first part of the article about them, check the highlighted words in your dictionary. Mark the sentences true, false, or don't know. Okay? We have supervolcano. If this volcano erupted, the world would freeze. Mr. Paul, would you like to read our first paragraph?
Yellowstone National Park, Wyoming, USA. A hot July day and some of the 3 million visitors who come to the park every year are watching one of the geysers erupt. Everyone is impressed, but as they chatter excitedly and eat their ice creams, not many of them realize that they are standing on top of the largest active volcano in the world. Scientists have known for a long time that Yellowstone is a volcanic area, but the strange thing is that until the 1960s, none of them could find a volcano anywhere in the park. Then new photos taken by NASA showed the reason why. The whole park, 9,000 square meters of it, is a volcano.
Very good. Mr. Gregory, can you please read our next paragraph?
Sorry, where must I read? Volcanoes like Yellowstone are called supervolcanoes because they are so huge and dangerous. 1,000 times more powerful than ordinary volcanoes. There are about 40 of them on Earth, but none of them has erupted recently. The most recent was 74,000 years ago in Indonesia. The last time Yellowstone Park erupted was 640,000 years ago.
Very good.
Excuse me, teacher, could you tell us the meanings of the words in blue? The words that have been highlighted in blue. From the first paragraph and this one.
I'd be happy to. Now, geysers erupt. A geyser is a collection of water underground. The water is warmed by the volcanic activity, and periodically the water shoots up out of the ground as steam. I believe a very famous geyser is called Old Faithful, because water collects underground and the volcanic activity heats that water up in such a way that the geyser always erupts in the same time every single day. Chatter is another word for talk, right? Generally means talk in a happy way. Huge means very big. Now, in concluding that part of the passage, we have what would happen if the Yellowstone volcano erupted again today. Here are the events that might follow? Mr. Paul, would you like to read this part of the passage?
Day 1, Yellowstone Park, USA. If the volcano erupted, hot ash and rock would shoot up into the air at 250 kilometers per hour. The cities of Denver and Salt Lake would be destroyed immediately and 87,000 people would die. Eventually, the ash would cover 3/4 of the USA, and drinking water and food crops would be contaminated.
Very good. Okay, so ash. Ash refers to that which is burned up. It can usually fly up into the air, be blown around by the wind. Shoot up would mean move up at a very rapid pace. Crops refer to food that is grown, mainly vegetables. It would not refer to food that comes from animals. Contaminated would mean that the water and food can no longer be eaten or drank, become toxic for human consumption.
Week 1, Europe. The whole of Europe would be covered by a grey cloud. Summer would turn to winter, and in some places, the sea would freeze. No European country would be able to grow food for 4 or 5 years.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Gregory, would you like to read this next paragraph?
The next 3 months, worldwide, 90% of our sunlight would be blocked and a volcanic winter would cover the earth. The tropical forests would die and food crops in warm countries such as India and China would fail. Only countries near the North and South Poles would carry on as usual. Iceland would do well because most of its food is grown in special greenhouses. It might be able to send food to the rest of the world.
Thank you. And Mr. Paul? Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry.
And could you tell us what was before?
Right, 90% of our sunlight would be blocked. That would mean that that portion of the sunlight would no longer be able to reach the Earth's surface. Carry on. Life in these countries, near the North and South Pole, if I say it would carry on, it would mean that people would still be able to live in those areas, eat, and have successful lives. Okay, Mr. Paul, can you please read our phone number?
How likely is it? Fortunately, scientists at the Yellowstone Volcanic Observatory say that there is no evidence that the volcano will erupt in the near future. They say such events are unlikely to happen in the next few centuries, so we can all get on with our lives and stop worrying, which is good to know.
Very good, and here we have the word evidence. That would mean reason to believe. Let's go ahead and look at our question. So we have a volcano, a supervolcano is a volcano which has recently erupted. Is that true or false?
False.
I believe that is false. Supervolcano refers to the size of the volcano, not to how recently it erupted. Number 2, not many people know if Yellowstone Park is a supervolcano. True or false?
True.
Okay. Yellowstone Park is an extinct volcano.
False.
False. There's still volcanic activity going on. About 40 supervolcanoes have been found on our planet.
That's true.
True. The most recent eruption of a supervolcano was in Yellowstone Park.
False.
False. It is unlikely that another supervolcano will erupt.
False.
False. It says that they probably won't erupt for a few centuries, but nothing will erupt. Oh my. Okay. False, true, false, true, false, true. I guess it depends on how you think of the word near.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay? Now we have checked the highlighted words and put these events in the correct order. Oh. Which one of these events do you think came first? Or would come first?
Number 2.
Number 2, 87,000 people would die immediately. What's next?
Well, what about number 6?
Only 10% of our sunlight would reach the Earth. Well, this has the word immediately. So
Yeah.
probably that one comes first.
Uh-huh.
And then shortly thereafter, very little sunlight would reach the Earth, right? Immediate death followed by ash rising up in the atmosphere. The ash rising up in the atmosphere would be rapid, but not immediate. So I'd say 6 would be next. What would come third?
Tropical forests would die.
That sounds good. The tropical forest would probably die within, I would say, a few days to a few weeks. What would come next?
Warmer countries would have famines, or there would be no summer in Europe, one of those.
Probably no summer in, there'd be no summer in Europe. Would probably happen within, at the most, 3 seasons. Then probably the warmer countries would have famines. They probably do have at least enough food stored for a period of time to be able to avoid famine just for a while. The food storage would probably run out within, I wouldn't even know, a few months to to a year or 2. What happened next?
Don't know. What do you know, Tisha?
Iceland might start to feed the world. Or help
Iceland?
feed the world.
Might start to help feed the world, would probably be the last thing that would happen, right? You would have your famine, and then a country like Iceland start to feed the world. So, the first thing would happen is 87,000 people would die immediately. Next, there'd be no summer in Europe. Next, only 10% of our sunlight would reach the Earth. Next, the tropical forests would die. Next, warmer countries would have famine. And finally, Iceland might start to help feed the world. So, our guess about there being no summer in Europe was out of order, wasn't it? Beyond that, I think we did a good job. Next one. We have a question here. Why is there no need for us to worry?
Because it's not likely within the next 2 centuries for a supervolcano to erupt.
Right, that is correct. It does say at the end of our passage, it is unlikely that a supervolcano will erupt in the very near future. Now, we have many numbers that are referred to in the article. Does anyone remember where the number 3 million came from?
No.
Let's find it. Here we are. 3 million visitors to Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. Does anyone remember where the number 1960s was used?
This is when they took the photographs. I think NASA took the photographs and they saw that that Yellowstone was in actual fact a volcanic region or something.
1960s, none of them could find a volcano anywhere in the park. Okay, so it wasn't until 1960s that the volcanoes were found. Where was 9,000 used?
Oh, 9,000 square meters, that's the park. The area of the park.
The whole park, 9,000 square meters of it, is a volcano. Yes, that is outstanding. Number 40.
40 supervolcanoes worldwide.
Let's see. There are about 40 of them on Earth, right?
Yeah.
Supervolcanoes, yes. And where was 74,000 years? Ah.
This is the most recent eruption.
Correct. 74,000 years ago, an eruption in Indonesia.
I don't remember that.
Me neither.
How about 640,000?
That's the last time Yellowstone Park erupted.
640,000 years ago was the last time Yellowstone Park erupted. 250 kilometers per hour.
That's how fast the ash would travel out of the volcano.
I believe that is true.
Well, it says they're 250 kilometers.
Here we are right here. The volcano erupted, hot ash and rock shoot up into the air at 250 kilometers per hour. 87,000?
87,000 people would die in Salt Lake City and Denver, Colorado.
True. 87,000 people would die. 3/4. Where do you find that?
3/4 of the world, I can't remember.
The ash would cover 3/4 of the USA. And 90%.
90% of the world, I can't remember.
Let's see. 90% of our sunlight would be blocked. A volcanic winter would cover the Earth. Interesting. Okay, now we have, what do you think? Where do you think there might be other volcanic eruptions in the future?
Italy.
Bali.
Italy, Bali, yes, it's possible. Do you think scientists will one day find ways of stopping these disasters?
No.
It's unlikely. If an eruption did happen, what do you think you could do to try to survive?
Well, if you're in that region, you wouldn't be able to survive. And in actual fact, a supervolcano, if that went off, the world would freeze. So again, you wouldn't survive.
That's
So
true.
I think it's unlikely that people would survive a supervolcano. But a normal volcano, so long as you're not in the region, you should be okay.
Right, right. I believe Elon Musk does have a plan to colonize Mars. So, if that plan did go through, the people who would leave from Mars could survive.
Who do you think would do that? Who would want to live on Mars? It's
Well, if it's between living in a colony on Mars or living in America after a supervolcano erupts, I would pick Mars. Anyway, let's go on to page 100. Here we go. Phrasal verbs consist of a verb plus adverb and preposition. Some phrasal verbs are literal. We have our example here. Go away and leave me alone. We have take off your coat and come and sit down. We have complete the sentences with a word from the box. Mr. Paul, would you like to do one?
put on something warm. It's cold today.
Perfect. Mr. Gregory, number 2.
There's some ice cream in the freezer. Can you get it out?
Perfect. Mr. Paul, number 3.
Why are your clothes on the floor? Please pick them up.
Outstanding. Mr. Gregory, number 4.
I'm going to take the kids out for the day.
Outstanding. And number 5, Mr. Paul.
When are you going back to your country?
Very, very good. Now we have do or mime these actions. So, Mr. Paul, can you please mime turning around? Perfect. Mr. Gregory, can you please mime walking out? Mr. Paul, can you please mime trying something on? Don't do it, mime it.
That's the physical. Now I'll do the miming. It's a very good point, teacher. I told you, this teacher's intelligent. He's more intelligent than me. I'll do that one again, shall I?
Correct. Mr. Gregory, can you please mime throwing something away?
This test is no good.
Excuse me, Mr. Gregory, that's not miming.
That's doing
That's the physical.
Oh, okay, that was the physical. Now to mime.
Yeah. Mr. Paul, can you please mime looking for something?
Mime what?
Looking for something. Mr. Gregory, can you please mime turning something off? Mr. Paul, can you please mime falling over?
Physical first, please.
Very good. Mr. Gregory, can you please mime lying down? Very good. Now we have some phrasal verbs are blurred. Can you sort out this problem? As our first example, the plane took off. I gave up my job. Very good.
I've got some, teacher.
Yes.
First, we'll have the literal. The students ran out of the classroom. That's literal.
Okay.
Lateral, the car ran out of petrol.
Okay.
That's lateral. That's the difference between the two.
Okay.
So you understand that, I know you do.
Yes.
Can you explain to our students what the difference is between literal and lateral is?
Literal means that it's actually what in fact happened, right?
Yep.
Literal would be kind of like a figure of speech, ran out of gas, right? You're not necessarily saying that the car actually ran in terms of running with your feet. You're saying that the car no longer has gas in it. We drove the car until there was no more gas. Okay. Now we have do or mime these actions. Mr. Paul, can you please mime looking after a vehicle? Very good. Mr. Gregory, can you please mind looking up a word? Mr. Paul, can you please mind we've run out of milk? Very good. Mr. Gregory, can you please mind my car broke down? And Mr. Paul, can you please mind look out? Very good. And Mr. Gregory, can you please mind filling in a form? Very good. Now we have look at the position of the object when it is a pronoun in these sentences. If your shoes are dirty, take them off. This sweater looks nice. Can I try it on? We have complete the sentences with phrasal verbs from exercise 1 and 2. Use pronouns. So, number 1. Mr. Paul, who's number 1 for us?
Where's my tea? Sorry, I threw it away. It was cold.
Very good, Mr. Gregory. Please do number 2.
We don't need all these lights on. Turn them off.
Outstanding, Mr. Paul. Number 3.
Leave little Annie with me. I'll look after her.
Outstanding, Mr. Gregory. Number 4.
I haven't got time to fill in this form. I'll fill it in later.
Very, very good. In a way, the off after her and it in we did that one perfectly. Now we have complete the sentences with one of these phrasal verbs in the correct form. Mr. Gregory, number 1, please.
How do you get on with your parents?
Very good. Mr. Paul, number 2.
Do you ever fall out with your brothers and sisters?
Outstanding, Mr. Gregory, number 3.
What are you looking forward to doing on holiday?
Very good, Mr. Paul, number 4.
Have you ever run out of petrol in your car?
Outstanding, and Mr. Gregory, number 5.
Where did you grow up, or have you always lived here?
Very good. Thank you very much for participating in our lesson. I'll look forward to seeing you next time.